Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. And finally the war season has started and we got our first war. And first war did we have? It is against APOCO, and last season they, I believe, placed second or somewhere in the top 3. And they are definitely very capable alliance. So very first war off the bat at beginning of war season we already have a very serious test. And it did turn out to be very exciting, close war where a single death basically determines everything. And yeah, let's go right through it. And just a quick side note, I didn't have the most fights. I think I only had 4 fights in this war, but it's probably for the best because I haven't been quite feeling like myself in the last couple of days, so I didn't also push it. I had a chance to steal a mini boss, but this time I just didn't because I wasn't overly confident in myself, but I'm sure it's gonna go back to normal quite soon. Right, so let's jump to that. As we can see, when I joined the war, there were only 6 nodes taken down by each of the teams, and the score was tied in pretty much every manner of the sense. So we're gonna move on here. I am on path 1 in section 1, which is a very frequent assignment for me. That is what I typically end up clearing in section 1 and section 2. Often it is path 1 as well, but it sometimes is something else. So we're gonna move here. I had to wait a tiny bit just before I get another energy, so I can clear my 2 fights in section 1. And I was checking here which boosts I do have an overflow, because I did go overboard opening the Supreme Solar Crystal, so it have quite a lot of like 15% boost, which you get from daily events. And this is a very nice contrast to what I'm typically used to, because quite often the smaller boosts, like the 15% attack boost, 15% health boost, stuff like that, you are quite short on them. And now, thanks to the change in the daily events and thanks to the Supreme Solar Crystals, I basically can't even open Supreme Solar Crystals as much as I would want to, because I have a ton of boosts that I need to go through. And that also makes me feel much better and much easier about using them, because typically I only use boosts in Alliance War, and then sometimes for some sort of videos or live streams, like if I go in Abyss or want to just kind of beef up a champion a bit. But yeah, so ton of boosts for the season, feeling very good about that. Unfortunately, not as many potions, because well, I hate using glory for potions, and I don't. And if I have to, I would prefer to stock up with units. Up until now, I have survived in potions from the gifting event because I stacked up full back then. But that stash is all but disappeared now, and yeah, I'll have to dedicate a stash of units, because I think in Glory Store the potions are ridiculously, stupidly, laughably overpriced, and I'd rather use my glory on rank up resources and things that maybe don't come by as easily, like tier 2 alphas and stuff like that. And yeah, I'll just rather use units that I grind for the potions personally. So the first fight here, Dormammu, nothing special for Quake, but do not stress, this is the only Quake fight actually in the war. And thinking about it, I didn't even really need to bring Quake, because I could have done this fight with Torch or Dormammu relatively easily as well. But yeah, so the first fight down with Quake, very easy, very straightforward. Second fight here, we have Masochism, Cosmic Ghost Rider. The global node that we are going up against is Protect. And it's quite straightforward. And again, because I actually would have preferred if we had some sort of change in Alliance War, because last season many of the wars were kind of like 2-3 deaths and things like that, and then yeah, it's just harder to recover whenever you make a mistake. If you ever happen to die, you feel that much worse about it, especially if it is the death that decided the war. And I do hope on some sort of a refresher on Alliance War in the near future, hopefully next season, because I kind of feel that it's getting stale. Stubborn went away, and that was the only significant change to war recently, and it really didn't offer any new in Stubborn's place. Nobody's using that new regenerator tactic, so yeah, war's gotten a bit stale, I think. But yeah, Dr. Doom there, super easy, super straightforward, not much to stress about. And now my couple of fights in section 2. So this is already the next day. And when I went to bed, I checked out the score, and we were actually losing. We were the first alliance to give away a death. It was 0-1. And at the time I woke up, the score was 5-4. We were winning. We died 4 times, they died 5 times. However, they had about 30 to 40 nodes more explored. So we had a window of opportunity, pun intended, but we had to be pretty much flawless. APOCO had given us a chance to win, but we had to be perfect to grab that chance, to grab that opportunity, because we had a crap ton of more fights left than they did. And again, so this time I used a 30% champion boost, and also since the war is as close, just to be safe, I use indestructible 3 boost, because Magneto is level 2 sometimes. If I'm going to push him there, it can catch you, or you never know what can happen. And later on I have a mojo fight as well, which can be tricky. Now, I did try to do these fights as quick as I can, but at the same time not kind of like overly rush, because I hoped that I can use the indestructible 3 boost in order to get rid of a Sorcerer Supreme mini-boss on the top left corner. But I don't make the Swallow, so I don't take that mini-boss. I let a teammate of mine grab that one. But the reason why I mention it is because typically I would have removed Dexterity for the next Mojo fight, and I don't do it this time, which actually is going to kind of complicate the things a bit. But we're going to get there. So against the Magneto, now this is Ebb and Flow Intercept node, but again, Human Torch is such a great counter for Magneto, because Magneto's all basic attacks are energy damage, and you just get a ton of smolders, and those smolders obviously add up and they put in work. And even though I'm dealing only like, what, 40% of my regular amount of damage, you can see that Magneto is still going down very, very quickly, just because of the very favorable matchup for Human Torch. And yeah, so minute and 20 here, and down he goes. Had I tried to intercept or done something, I could have probably done the fight quicker, but again, war is all about better be safe than sorry, and I didn't want to do any rash things, rash moves that could potentially put me in danger of getting KO'd. Now, this node has redoubled determination, therefore it's very important to use that Human Touch pre-fight ability. If you didn't bring the Human Touch pre-fight ability, then I would be in a big, big, big trouble. So that is one of the key things to remember. And again, I could have actually used Quake here as well, but the fight would be quite long, and truth be told, I understand that many people don't like watching Quake being used, and that's also part of the reason in my brain, because obviously I want to make my Alliance War videos somewhat more appealing, even though ultimately, whenever Quake is the best option, I will use Quake. Now here I do make a mistake, because he did not want to throw his level 2. At this point he does, therefore I'm kind of safe, but I do need to watch out from his power gain. Even though spend the entire fight not triggering a single buff, he does reach the 5 prompts, and because he gets lucky with the RNG, and that lets him get a power gain, that lets him place the degen on me as well. But at this point the fight is pretty much over, and even though I have taken serious amount of damage, I never triggered Dexterity, never got degen on me because of my error, but just of how it kind of like happened to play out. And yeah, I did take more damage than I would have liked to. That was the second reason why I didn't really steal that mini-boss, because I would have had to heal up Torch, and as I said, I'm perfectly stacked on boosts, but not as much on health potions, so I'm going to try and be relatively careful using those. And yeah, at this point I checked that my Indestructible 3 boost is expired, and I just decided not to go ahead and not to steal somebody else's mini-boss fight here. And yeah, the score at this point was still 5-4, and we had narrowed down the gap actually. We had matched them in exploration, so we were looking very, very good. So this first war was extremely stressful, extremely close. But as an alliance, I was very happy that we could pull ourselves together. Obviously, I wasn't overly impressed or happy with the fact that we died very early 4 times. and, and there are definitely still things that we as a group need to work on. But the fact that we cleared all of the final pieces without dying, again, up until the very end where it didn't quite matter anymore, is definitely something that I'm very happy with. And the start of the season, we are taking the first W here. We can see that opponents have died 6 times, but they have 4 nodes left to clear. We have died 5 times, so we have cleared everything, so we are going to win this war whenever it does conclude. So even though it wasn't the most exciting war, even though I didn't have the biggest role to play in it, hopefully in future I do pick it up. And typically I think last 2 or 3 seasons, I don't remember how many seasons back the stats that I have seen go, but I typically have overall the most fights in my battle group, so I definitely have some catching up to do. And yeah, congratulations to ASR for the first hard-fought victory of the season. Hopefully we can have a much better season than last one and make our way back to top 3. That is the ultimate goal. Try and win the season. If not, then at the very least land in top 3 to get some bit better rewards, even though rewards are quite poor compared to what you get in AQ. Still, it's always nice to be up there among the better alliances. And obviously, the best of luck for APOCO for remainder of the season. I'm sure there is a very strong chance that we could potentially face them again before the season finishes. And yeah, good start for us, and we're going to see where this goes on in future. So if you like the video, hit that like button, hit that sub button if you do not want to miss more Alliance War videos coming your way, because I do plan to upload every single war, regardless of how poorly or well I play, regardless of how many fights I have as an individual, because I do like war. I just wish they would do something fresh with it. But yeah, that is it now for reals, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya! Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about